The greatest wealth transfer in human history is happening right now, and you are completely blind to it. Silicon Valley is not building an artificial intelligence. They are building a $1 trillion incinerator. Right now, the biggest tech giants on Earth are burning billions on servers, electricity, and pure hype, selling you the illusion of a utopian future. But there is a dark mathematical truth they are hiding. The machine is not making a profit. It is a financial black hole held together by PR and desperation. We are standing at the absolute edge of the AI bubble, and when the math finally catches up with the marketing, the collapse will not hit the billionaires, it will hit you. Welcome to the end of the artificial economy. To understand the collapse, you have to look past the press releases and look at the physical hardware. We have been sold a story that artificial intelligence is software, a magical entity living in the cloud. But the cloud is just a building full of computers, and those computers are currently bleeding money. Every single time you type a prompt into an AI model, a physical machine somewhere on Earth has to burn electricity to generate the answer. This is called inference cost. And right now, the math is entirely broken. The giants of Silicon Valley are subsidizing your queries. They are taking massive losses on every user, hoping that one day the system will become smart enough to figure out how to make itself profitable. It is the ultimate pyramid scheme built on silicon and cooling fans. Let's look at the actual numbers. The hardware required to train these models costs tens of billions of dollars. The energy required to run them is beginning to rival small nations. And what is the actual return on this unprecedented investment? A subscription service that helps middle managers write emails slightly faster. We have built a nuclear reactor to power a toaster. The only companies actually making a profit right now are the ones selling the chips. They are selling the pickaxes in a gold rush, where there is no actual gold. When the investors finally wake up and realize that the promised land of artificial general intelligence is decades away, and the current models are just hyper-advanced autocomplete engines, the funding will stop. And when the funding stops, the servers power down. You will not see a glorious robot rebellion. You will just see a 404 error page. The technology sector is carrying the entire weight of the stock market, and it is standing on a foundation of subsidized server time. When this bubble bursts, the economic crater will swallow pension funds, tech jobs, and the savings of millions who bought into the hype. The architecture of this deception is brilliant, because it preys on our deepest fear of being left behind. Every CEO, every middle manager, and every retail investor is terrified that if they do not adopt AI today, they will be obsolete tomorrow, so they throw money blindly into the void, buying enterprise licenses for software that hallucinates facts and writes mediocre code. They are told this is the ground floor of a new industrial revolution, but it is actually the penthouse of a digital casino. The tech giants are not selling a product, they are selling FOMO, fear of missing out, weaponized on a global scale. And while the middle class is desperately trying to learn prompt engineering to save their jobs, the executives at the top are quietly cashing out their stock options. Look at the massive insider selling happening right now across Silicon Valley. The architects of the simulation do not believe in their own creation. They know that the energy grid cannot support the exponential growth required for their models. They know that they are running out of high-quality human data to train their algorithms. The internet has already been strip-mined of its useful information, and now the AI models are beginning to train on synthetic data generated by other AI models. It is a digital Ouroboros, a snake eating its own tail. The result is not artificial intelligence, it is artificial incest. The models will degrade, the hallucinations will multiply, and the perceived value of the entire industry will collapse under the weight of its own generated garbage. But the executives will not be the ones holding the bag. When the bubble bursts, the narrative will instantly shift. They will blame regulation, they will blame the global supply chain. They will blame everything except the fundamental lie that you can create infinite intelligence from finite resources. And you, the consumer, the employee, the investor, will be left staring at a screen that no longer promises you the future. We are about to experience the greatest technological hangover in history. When the AI bubble bursts, the damage will not be confined to Silicon Valley. It will bleed into the real economy. Think about the infrastructure we have neglected while chasing this digital ghost. We have diverted billions of dollars and massive amounts of energy grid capacity away from actual physical problems. We stopped building the future to simulate it instead. And what happens to the millions of people who were told their skills were obsolete? The coders, the writers, the analysts who were paralyzed by the fear of an algorithmic replacement that never fully materialized. They have spent the last few years waiting for the executioner, only to find out the guillotine was made of cardboard. But the psychological damage is already done. We have trained an entire generation of workers to doubt their own competence, to believe that human intuition is inferior to a predictive text engine. The crash of the artificial economy will force a brutal return to reality. Companies will have to rehire humans to clean up the catastrophic mess left behind by automated systems that hallucinated financial reports and generated garbage code. The premium will no longer be on who can write the best prompt, but on who can actually do the physical, verifiable work. The pendulum is about to swing back with violent force. The future does not belong to the virtual assistants. It belongs to the authentic, the tangible, and the real. The people who know how to build, repair, and create outside of a server farm will become the most valuable assets on Earth. The simulation is failing. The trillion-dollar incinerator is running out of fuel. The question is not if the machine will stop, but where you will be standing when the lights come back on. Are you building your life on an algorithm that is currently bleeding billions, or are you building something real? Let's look at the desperate measures already taking place behind closed doors. When a massive technological investment fails to deliver, the architects do not admit defeat. They simply build a larger maze to hide the dead ends. We are now entering the phase of the AI bubble known as the sunk cost fallacy. Corporations have spent hundreds of millions of dollars integrating systems that fundamentally do not work as advertised. But the CEOs cannot tell their shareholders they burned the quarterly profits on a glorified chatbot. So they create an illusion of efficiency. We are seeing the rise of a new, deeply dystopian labor market, ghost work. Behind the sleek, minimalist interfaces of the most advanced AI tools, there is often a hidden army of underpaid human workers. They are manually labeling data, correcting hallucinations, and sometimes literally typing out the responses that the artificial intelligence is supposed to be generating. The machine is not learning, it is just hiding the humans doing the heavy lifting. This is the ultimate dark irony of the artificial economy. We were promised a future where machines would do the labor so humans could pursue higher meaning. Instead, we have built a system where humans are forced to perform robotic, mind-numbing microtasks just to make the machines look competent. You are not talking to a digital god. You are talking to a digital sweatshop, hidden behind a firewall and a $50 billion valuation. And as the models run out of data, this reliance on hidden human labor will only increase. The tech giants are frantically trying to patch the leaks in a sinking ship, using human sweat to cool the overheating servers. But this illusion is mathematically unsustainable. The margins are collapsing. The cost of hiding the failure is becoming greater than the cost of the hardware itself. The venture capitalists are beginning to ask hard questions, and the answers are written in red ink. When the facade finally drops, the shockwave will tear through the financial markets. The emperor has no clothes, and the machine has no mind. It only has a burning furnace of venture capital, and it is running out of cash. The question you must ask yourself is not what the AI will do next, but what the market will do when it realizes the AI can do almost nothing at all. We have reached the physical limit of the digital realm. The industry calls it the data wall. For the past decade, AI models have been fed a diet of human history. Every book ever written, every article published, every comment, image, and private thought uploaded to the internet has been scraped, packaged, and consumed. But human output is finite. We have officially run out of high-quality human data. The internet is empty. So what does a starving machine do? It begins to eat itself. The new generation of artificial intelligence is being trained on data generated by the previous generation. This is a process known as model collapse. When an AI learns from an AI, the errors multiply. The nuances of human thought are flattened. The output becomes repetitive, distorted, and fundamentally broken. It is the digital equivalent of a genetic mutation. The machines are not getting smarter, they are slowly going insane. And as the models degrade, the cost to run them continues to skyrocket. Silicon Valley is currently planning data centers so massive they require their own dedicated nuclear power plants. But the physical world is beginning to reject the digital parasite. The electrical grids of major nations are already buckling under the strain. We are reaching a point where we have to choose between keeping the lights on in our hospitals or powering a server farm that generates synthetic images of people who do not exist. The trillion-dollar incinerator is not just burning venture capital anymore, it is burning the physical infrastructure of our civilization. The bottleneck is no longer software, the bottleneck is reality. The laws of thermodynamics cannot be hacked. You cannot code your way out of an energy crisis. When the physical limits are finally breached, the artificial economy will hit a concrete wall at terminal velocity. And the people selling the dream know this. That is why the tone of the tech elite has quietly shifted from utopian promises to survivalist preparations. They are building bunkers while selling you virtual reality. The greatest trick Silicon Valley ever played was convincing you that you need them to survive the future. They have conditioned you to believe that if you are not tethered to their algorithms, paying their subscriptions, and feeding their servers with your data, you will simply cease to exist in the modern economy. But as the trillion-dollar incinerator begins to run out of fuel, the exact opposite is becoming true. The most vulnerable people on Earth right now are the ones who have outsourced their thinking, their skills, and their livelihoods to a machine that cannot generate a profit. When the servers power down, when the venture capital dries up, and when the AI bubble violently bursts, the digital landscape will become a wasteland of broken code and bankrupt startups. The men in suits will retreat to their compounds, leaving you to deal with the economic fallout. But there is a way out. It requires stepping away from the screen. It requires realizing that the highest value asset in a synthetic world is authenticity. The ability to build something with your hands. The ability to solve a physical problem in the physical world. The ability to look another human being in the eye without an algorithmic mediator. The algorithm wants you isolated, dependent, and afraid. It wants you to believe that the machine is inevitable. It is not. It is a fragile house of cards built on subsidized energy and stolen data. Stop feeding the machine. Start building your reality. The collapse of the artificial economy is not the end of the world. It is the beginning of the human resurgence.